First of all, how are you keeping during this unprecedented and crazy time?
Well, it's getting a bit crazy at the minute. I'm doing fine, thanks. It's unreal what's happening, and hopefully soon, in the very near future, we all get through it together. It's crazy to believe what's happening. I've got 4 kids as well, so they're all off school, and they're keeping me busy at the minute and driving me mad at the same time. But it's nuts just to think what is actually happening.
So prior to all this, what have you been up to? You still playing? Have you started life after football?
I signed for Chorley Football Club about 2 months ago. They're in the Conference Prem. But before that, all pre-season and all August, I was at Bury. I had everything agreed, ready to sign for Bury Football Club. And then what happened there was just madness. And you'd never think a football club would go through that, which obviously killed me because I was ready to sign there. A 12-month deal back in League One. And then I had a coaching role doing their academy under 14s. And my son was in their academy as well. So in the space of a phone call, all his life had turned upside down. So it's been tough trying to get into another football club with people saying they've got no money left, or they've got everybody filled up in that position, or you're too old. So it's been a tough season. So hopefully when this goes through and everything gets fit and healthy again, we can start looking again.
So how do you reflect on your time with MK Dons?
My time at MK was probably the most enjoyable time in my career. The reasons for that were the group of lads we had there were absolute brilliant, unbelievable, and it always helps when you have a successful team, which we were always knocking on the door to getting promotion, and then we eventually did it in my third season, which was good. And then at the time I was 29 when I signed, and I had 3 kids, one just born, so then obviously make it 4. And when your kids are constant, when they're at that age and they're a little bit older and they can understand it, it makes it a bit more meaningful. So, and they all enjoyed it. They were part of the celebration when we got promoted. So it's really memories for your family and your kids, which they're always going to remember. When I left, obviously I didn't want to leave, but sometimes football's a little bit cruel in that sense, and you've just got to get on with it.
You joined in 2012, out of the 2012-13 season. What was it about MK Dons that made you want to move to Stadium MK?
At the time, when I signed for MK Dons, I still had 12 months left on my contract at Huddersfield, and we'd just been promoted to the Championship, and they were just bringing in quite a lot of players, like big name players, and I was just thinking that am I going to be playing? I'm going to be sub a lot. And I can remember just saying to my agent, we just played MK Dons a while back, and I knew a couple of players what played for him. And the style of football that Kyle McFadzean had him playing, it had just suit me down to the ground. So I just mentioned it to my agent to give Carl a ring. And then the rest is history, yeah. I think I'd signed for MK Dons a week later, so that's how that come about.
You're obviously involved in some important matches early on in your career, particularly the AFC Wimbledon match in your first season. What was that experience like? Just the build up, the game itself, and obviously Semi's goal at the end.
That game was a little bit surreal. It was madness. I think because it was the first round of the FA Cup as well, which normally you probably get 1,000, 2,000 fans there. I think there were 20,000 fans. It was absolute mayhem. It's the first time they played each other, and then I can remember Pete Winkleman, the chairman, getting death threats, Carl Robinson getting death threats, and then it was just a mad game. And I think even playing in it was just mad. I can remember dominating them and then 1-0 up, and then we conceded a poor goal, I think. I'm not sure. And then Semi come up with the heel of God, he calls it, and everybody else. I think they'll be remembered for that as well. How we took it as well, so nonchalant. It was an unbelievable goal.
Well, during that season, you played alongside Patrick Bamford and Dele Alli, and then moving forward, the likes of Will Grigg and Benik Afobe. How good were some of those players that you played with?
I think with Patrick, Carl Robinson got some great strikers in. I think there were Patrick the season before we got promoted, and then they had Will Grigg and Benik Afobe in. And I think they were great strikers. I think in any team, if you're going to be successful, you need goal scorers in your team, and they definitely were that. And all three of them, I think Patrick the season before got quite a lot of goals, and then the season we got promoted, Will Grigg and Benny Kafobi scored quite a lot that season as well. But in regards to Delhi, because I've seen him come up all the way through since he was a kid as well, Kay, you can always tell with some people that they're going to be special, and he was definitely one of them. He'd play games like he'd train, like it was a training session. He'd always try and meg players. You could tell he just enjoyed the game, and then the couple of seasons that he was a regular in the team, you could see him just growing and growing and growing, and just hard work as well. You deserve everything you get in football, and he's doing that at the minute with quite a lot of things as well. So good luck to him.
You struck up a really good relationship with the likes of Darren Potter, John Summerall, Ryan Lowe, and then later down the line, Kyle McFadzean, Lee Nichols and Carl Baker, your Liverpool gang. What was that like? And obviously you used to travel down the train together. Was that kind of a fun experience?
Yeah, definitely. From when I first signed, there were Potsy and Semi-Ball and Ryan Lowe, and we'd all get the train together. Absolute brilliant. Some great stories as well. And Kyle McFadzean, he was my roommate, and I still speak to him now all the time. Carl Baker, he was all lads. I think because we're all at the similar age as well, where we were the more experienced ones, because we had quite a lot of young players at the team at the minute, and we were the quiet ones who just probably stick together a little bit more and kind of sort the dressing room out. But what a great group of lads. There was probably a story where there were me, Potsy, Darren Potter, Semi and Ryan Lowe. We just had a game as well on the Saturday, and we were in for a cool down on the Sunday. So we all stopped in the hotel and we thought, we'll just get a couple of pints. And I can't remember what time this was, but then an hour or two later they rung the bell for the last orders, and we must have had about 6 pints each. And then the next thing, I think it might be in Potsy. Potsy ordered about 26 beers. And, I can remember Lowy was sick all over the floor in the hotel. I think Semi was struggling. I can't remember what time we got to bed. But the next thing, I can remember Nonna's alarm went off for the next day. And I can remember getting up thinking, we have to be in about 20 minutes. We've got no chance. But I just had I think I got away with it. I can remember that I think they got fined for being late. They were lower in the right state. I think I got away with it because my wife, my daughter had just got ill in that morning. So I had to go straight home. So I had to get on the train and go home. So I kind of got away with it a little bit, but I think they got in a little bit of trouble.
The stand-up season probably for you must be the promotion season, 2014-15. What was that season like to go through?
During that season, when you think about it, I can remember going into every single game thinking, we're going to win this. The players that we had that season were ridiculous. Like, for instance, you had Louis always had it locked down at left back. I think there were me, Kyle. There were Joe Walsh pushing us for positions as well. The right back you had Jordan Spence, George Baldock. In centre mid you had like Potsy and Delhi starting, and you had like, who else? You had Sammy sometimes sub. You had Lewis Baker on loan from Chelsea, who was an unbelievable talent. And they were like Will Grigg, Benny Kafobi always changing, one sub. The team what we had that season were ridiculous, and I can remember just thinking we're not going to lose any game, and the last game obviously Preston messed up towards the end, but you could just see that entire season was successful, and just thinking about it now, it was a great team togetherness, and I think that's what pushed us over in the end with all the talent that we had.
What were your memories from that season in particular? Obviously the Man United game and the Yeovil game at the end of the season, but were there any others that stood out?
The Man U game. I can remember the first 10 minutes, they were all over us, and I can remember just looking at Kyle, me and Kyle looking at each other, just smiling, laughing, thinking, oh my God, we could be in trouble today. But the longer it went on, the longer we hung out and obviously stayed solid and didn't concede, and then the goals what we got, and that was more surreal than anything. Than you're thinking, I remember looking at the scoreboard thinking 4-0. But those games come probably once or twice in your career, and you need to hang on to those memories, which I do very fondly.
Where does that season rank for you in your career? Obviously, quite a successful career, but where does that rank? You finished that season as the team's leading appearance maker as well, so played an important part.
Yeah, obviously the season when we did get promoted, to be the highest appearance maker that season, I'd be very proud. I've missed one game, and that was shock. 5 yellow cards, getting suspended. But I enjoyed every single game of that season. It was brilliant. When you're successful playing in a team, you ask any footballer, and that's just where you want to be in your career. And that season, it's definite for that. And I got promoted with my hometown club Barnsley and making my debut for them. They're unbelievable, them kind of memories, because they're the kinds what you dream of when you support a team and then make your debut for them and get promoted. But probably in my life, when you look at it, and when I've got my wife there and my 4 children there supporting me, and knowing they're going to have that for the rest of their lives, and the memories, that's definitely up there.
Let's talk about your partnership with Kyle McFadzean. A lot of Dons fans say it's one of the best partnerships at the back the club's ever had. Did you ever have a better one in your career?
Oh, Kyle, I love Kyle. His class. Definitely. I think for me, having the longevity as well, I think Kyle's probably my best. I'm still friends with him now, I speak to him quite a lot. He's probably my best partnership I've had. 2 Yorkshire lads as well, Barnsley and Sheffield, but I think we had a great understanding. We used to do everything together, we used to room together. I knew his strengths and weaknesses, he knew mine. If we got in trouble, the other one would get each other out of trouble. We were both vocal. If one of us did something wrong, the others would tell him. We had no grudges, and we had probably a good respect for each other, which I think in nowadays, if you've got one teammate shouting at your other one, the other one gets sulk on and they start arguing. I think with me and Kyle, we never had that. We'd listen to each other, and we both were very opinionated, which was probably good for the team. But yeah, it's definitely the one. But I had a couple with Barnsley and Huddersfield, which I enjoyed. But I think Kyle's probably the best one, which he'll probably ring me up when he reads this.
So you're currently 13th all time in terms of appearances for MK Dons, with 161. You were recently surpassed by George Williams and Kieran Agard still at the club. Does it make you proud that you were able to make such an impact during your time at Stadium MK?
Yeah, 13's good. When to say I was only there probably 4 seasons. To say MK is not, I think 2003, 2004, so it's not been going that long. Where on the other scale, if you look at Lewington, he's probably never going to be eclipsed with how many appearances made. But it would always, when you're at a club and you're playing regular, which I was, you're always going to rack up appearances, which is good.
So do you still keep an eye out for the Dons? Do you think they can do enough to secure their League One status this season?
Yeah, all my ex-clubs, especially MK, whenever you know people what are playing for that club, you always keep an eye out, and it's always, I've had fond memories of MK, so I always want them to do well. I still look see if Louis playing every week, which he is, and so that's good. And I think they will avoid relegation. They've got the manager what's there. He's had a bit of experience now. He's played at the top level, I think, with Norwich. He looks very clued in, which I've spoken to a few people and they say that, and they've got a good squad. Too good, I think, to get relegated, so they will get out of it.
And finally, we ask every player this. What's your opinion on Dean Linton? How amazing is it that he's still going strong after all this time?
To be fair, when you look at Louis, some people say, oh, he's there now, he's part of the furniture, he's this and that, or he's getting too old. But when you think about it, every single manager, I think, apart from one, Louis has always played under. So you must have to be a decent player to be playing under every single manager. When he gets a sack, new manager comes in, he always wants to bring new players in, new ideas, and Louis been involved in every single one. So everything he gets in his career, the amount of games he's played is unbelievable, and he's still going now. So as long as he keeps looking after himself, which I think he does, he's got a family now, which will help him. So he'll just keep going, and especially this day and age, if you look after yourself now, which I think a lot of the old players do, including myself, you feel you can still keep going, and if you can still do it and think you can, and you're still putting it in, and you can tell in training, you might as well keep going. So good luck to him.